There is something we barely talk about, even though it is something that affects all of us. It is something we have to carry around with us every day. That thing is grief. We try so hard to avoid it and to shut it out and pretend it's never going to happen. We need to get better at grief.
My loss was about 3 years ago. I've never had a close friend or family member die. Mine was my dog. We actually had him from birth, so he was ours, like we had his parents, and we raised him. And yeah, we had to have him put down because he had a kidney problem and he was really bloated and struggling and everything, so we had to do right by him and put him down. It was a blue roan Cocker Spaniel. He was very dumb, as Cocker Spaniels are, but you love him for it. I remember we had to get him a halty to stop him from choking himself on walks, but that just meant that he barked more, to be honest. But no, he was a good boy. He did what he was told, and he knew not to do anything wrong in the house besides chew up teddies, but now well. My favourite memory with him is one of two. One time me and my brother were walking him and we were in the park and he was barking away, but he was off his lead, and some little girl wanted to stroke him, and she was, playing around with him, and then me and my brother went walking on, just leaving him because he would follow behind us, and then we turned around and saw his leg cocked up in the air and he started peeing on her and peed up her leg. So the little girl started crying. Obviously the parents weren't really bothered, they were more laughing and telling us not to worry about it because he's a dog. I do think people take pet losses seriously. Like, I think it's sort of a big stepping stone. Like I said, the only experience I've had with grief is to do with pets. Like, I've gone through, like, I had my great grandma died, but I only saw her once every like 3 years, and she died when I was about 8. So I did, and obviously it's sad because that was my mum's grandma who raised her, but I was more grieving for mum and not for myself, because obviously I didn't really know her. I remember a bit about her, but I think with pets it's more the fact of they can't tell you, you have to know for them, and it's bad, like not nice to see them in pain, and the fact that you have to make the decision, and it, yeah, I think it depends really if you've been there, how seriously you take it, because like my brother had to take 3 days off work when he was ill, but work wouldn't allow days off for pets, so he just had to basically say that he was ill, and he wasn't allowed days off for pets dying. But when I told my college tutor, he let me have 2 days off, which really helped. It was more the fact of, I think when I first lost him, I was I miss him, you know, thinking of all how I'll never see him again. But obviously I do miss him all the time, and I wish he was still here. But then when I think of him, I don't have any bad thoughts in mind. I just think about how great he was and everything that he did for my life. Like, he was there for when I was about 7 till I was 18. So he was there throughout my whole school life, and he saw me become an adult, if you say. And yeah, it's obviously him dying 2 days after my birthday was hard, But at the end of the day, I wasn't really bothered about my birthday and turning 18. I just wanted him to be alright. And yeah, I think with the people taking it seriously, I think when it first happens, people take it seriously. But then, like, say I went to someone, or I'm sad about my dog dying 2 years ago, I think their main reaction would be, well, it was 2 years ago, what is there to be upset about? But it never really leaves you, not when you were close to him. Like, I'll always remember him, and I'll probably tell my future children about him and how great of a dog he was, but I won't get upset about it. I think everyone's going to be there, and it is hard when you're there, but after about a few months, your thoughts instantly go like that to the good thoughts, and you don't think about, oh, that's it, I'll never see him again. I think, yeah, I just think people have to experience it to know how serious it is, because, like I was saying, you have to think for them because they can't tell you. But yeah, that was my biggest loss. Obviously, like I said, I haven't lost a mate or a family member, but you know, it felt like I did, because he was almost like a brother, and I'd raised him and seen him before he could open his eyes.
My natural dad, I was only 17 when he died. Which was I was 17 in December and my dad passed away in the January. So I'd only literally turned 17. And to be quite honest, to this day, even though it's been 40 odd years, I still don't think I'd really grieved over him. I jumped straight from losing my dad the end of January to getting married at the beginning of March. So, and I think I really never grieved over it. I know I cried, but I don't think I grieved over it because, you know, I turned that grief into, well, I suppose ignoring it by getting married so young. And I do often wonder whether I have actually really ever grieved properly over him. So I don't know.
Grief is the response to universal change. All of us do it, but we do it differently. It's unique.
My parents' marriage was not a brilliant one. There was always lots of arguments, and so, but and they split up a couple of times. It was hard too, because when my mum and dad split up, that's when I found out my dad was dying. And that was hard as well, but we didn't think it was as bad as what it was till it was too late.
Yeah. What's your favourite memory with him? There could be more than one that you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, not. I can't remember too much with him, to be quite honest. And that's sad.
Yeah.
That really is sad that I can't remember much about our close relationship, because I don't think we ever had really what I class as a close relationship. Maybe we did. I'm not saying we didn't, but I really, really can't remember it.
You were just younger then and stuff.
Yeah. Well, whether, because, like I said, it's been 40 odd years since he's passed now.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have gone on since then, and that I've just blotted it out. And you know, he was only in my life 17 years, and most of them as I was a young child, so I wouldn't have remembered that. So whether that's the reason why, so it's really hard to really recall a lot. Well, like I said at the beginning, you know, getting married, having a baby, it just took my mind off. Well, obviously it takes 9 months to, you know, but I think having a boyfriend at the time that I was in love with, that I actually married and went on to have a family. I think having him round to help and
Yeah.
whatever, so really, really helped me. Well, Mr. Turner is what I call him, along other names, was my second dad. And who happened to be in my life for 40 years, which was more than double of my actual natural dad. We only lost him last year due to cancer again, so I lost both my dads to cancer. Yeah, you know, he was all right, but he wasn't my dad. He was just George. So, and I had my own life, and I just basically accepted him as George, not my dad. He wasn't dad. He wasn't dad for a long time. You know, he was just George, who my mum was with. Even when they married, he was still George. He wasn't dad. So it took quite a few years before he became dad. Obviously, as time went on, you know, he started becoming dad. He was there. He used to do things for us and help us out, and he did the dad bits. So and I grew to love him. And in the last over 10 years, I really got, when I moved down to Somerset to live near them, that's when I really got to know him well, and we became very close in those 10 years. So yeah, it's hard. I don't think I'm through the loss at all yet. No, it's too early.
Yeah.
And I don't think, and I think also I've not really grieved a lot because I've been there for my mum.
Yeah.
It's me, because where I live down here, and I'm near to her. It's sort of really been down to me to be there a lot for her, which is fine. But at the same time, I've not had my chance to grieve a lot. I've cried, obviously, I've cried and everything. So when and his ashes actually sit in my mum's house, and I have to go in there and say hello to him. He's in a big box, round box, and I go in and say hello to him and give him a kiss. Say, all right, Dad, how you doing? But I think it's still, like I said, it's only just been a year. My memories are all sort of jumbled up. I miss him. But he was a pain in the backside as well.
I think we all know that.
Yeah, he was a pain in the backside. Used to get on my nerves a lot. But I loved him. I really did love him. He was my dad. He was my dad. You know, I couldn't have had any better of a stepdad. He's always there. He'd drop anything to help us out. Kind-hearted man he was. Really kind-hearted man. So
I guess you can kind of say that's one of your favourite memories.
sorry?
I guess you can say that's one of your favourite memories, is that he was like always there
Yeah, he was always there whenever.
and like no matter
And
what.
kind-hearted, you know, if I needed anything, he'd go out of his way.
Yeah.
Well, not just me, all of us. He'd be there for all of us.